What's up, guys? Happy Wednesday. Chuck Silver and Smitty here to bring you the DraftKings and FanDuel strategy with Occupy Fantasy. Smitty, how are we doing?
Pretty good, man. Pretty massive slate they've given to us on a Wednesday. Normally we get a pretty light Wednesday, but they jammed it down our throats today.
Yeah, I was in Vegas for a few days, sweating the playoff NFL games, getting some bets in. So kept up a little with NBA, but haven't been playing DFS. So it's nice to get a few days off. Come in with a fresh takes, I guess. And we got a big one. So
Yeah, your Rams, man.
I I I'm like a casual Rams fan, right? And I said in our Discord, like, yeah, I'll be sweating my Rams losing from a sports book, and no, we blasted them, and then I don't know. We'll see if we go to the Super Bowl, dude. How does NFL not rig this for Los Angeles right now? They need
Yep.
some hope. But we have a 9 gamer today. It's 11 games over on FanDuel. Smitty, are you playing both?
Yeah. I'm playing a little lighter on DraftKings. I'm playing more on FanDuel.
Okay, nice. I'm only playing on DraftKings today, so we'll direct the FanDuel questions to Smitty. Is there anything you want to talk about, like general overview of the slate before we get into it?
Um, no, there's going to be a lot of chalk value, but I think there's some pretty good pivots. But we'll just go ahead and talk about it.
I mean, the big news is Trey Young out, right? And then Philly. What was the exact quote that Nick Nurse said that they're probably going to play?
He's hoping something
All
like
right,
that.
probably hopeful they play. So we're just going to talk about Philly as if they play. Trey Young's out. We're going to sort through that Atlanta value, and Charlotte's on this slate. They just traded away Nick Richards to the Suns for Josh Okogie. So we're gonna have to take a look at Mark Williams and how those minutes are going to be affected. He's only projected for 7 and 5% ownership. Didn't he put up 50 yesterday?
Yeah, the day before he put
The
up
day before.
I think he had 40 or 50 at halftime.
So we got one of the top values of the day with a double-digit OF index projected for 29 minutes. Maybe. Do you think he could play more than that?
Yeah, I think he could.
This is going to be one of our tournament spots of the day, but we will get to that when we get to those teams. Looks like Ricky Council was in the winner yesterday. I saw something about Jeff Doughton because Reggie Jackson was a chalk yesterday.
Yeah,
Uh, Doughton, man.
I was overweight on Doughton and Edwards, and it did not matter. So
Yeah, I saw Doughton was in the 300K zone winner. Nice. Savage, good to see you. Let's get to the money. Carmen, good evening. What's up, Heath? And Amari, Chucks, and Brandon, what's up? It's so funny, dude. One of my bosses used to call me Chucks, so half my friends call me Chucks, and it's stuck. Let's go ahead and start with this first game, the Knicks. So Cat's out, and what do you want to do with that?
yeah. Really, I think it's just more minutes for the other players.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't really want to play Jericho Sims. I mean, if I get him in a lineup or two, it's whatever. But he's probably going to play pretty decent minutes here. He's just a .3 fantasy point per minute producer, so hard to rely on much. But Precious would look better if he was going to get more minutes. But last time Cat was out, we didn't really see that. So I think Brunson is my favorite play here. And then Josh Hart, his rebounding rate should go up. So I like Josh Hart here as well.
And I think this will change in my exposures, but as of right now, my top owned guys are 3 Atlanta Hawks and Jalen Brunson. So I might need to adjust him down a little bit, but I think the minutes are projected low. The last 2 times that Cat missed, so the most recent one was January 6th, and they played the Magic. It was a 9 point game. Knicks lost. Brunson played, oh, he only played 36 minutes. I must have misread that. But McHale played 42. Josh Hart played 42, OG played 35, and Jericho Sims started that game, played 29 and a half minutes. Precious came off the bench for 22 minutes. This was like a week ago, so this is the rotation that I would be leaning more towards. Landry Shamet played 20 off the bench, and Campaign played 12. Do you have any comments on that?
No, I like it.
And then from December 7th, okay, this is the one. Jalen Brunson played 44 minutes. He played the whole first quarter, checked back in 3 minutes into the second quarter and played the rest of the game. Mikal Bridges 38, Josh Hart 39, OG 39. Jericho Sims started this game, only played 6 minutes. Precious played 28 off the bench. McBride played 27 off the bench. And Ariel Hook-Porty was in the rotation for that game on December 7th. He played 15 minutes. And so what I'm getting from this is I don't think that this minutes projection is accurate for either of them. This just seems like a safe thing to kind of middle it. Are you under the impression one of them is probably going to play more minutes, like maybe 27 to 17 would be a more accurate minutes projection?
Yeah, that's what I lean to. I think Tibbs could easily go back to Precious at center. Like it wouldn't surprise me at all. So I think there's a lot of variance in these projections. So if Precious at we have him at 3% ownership, I think he's a pretty good play.
Yeah, and if Precious ends up starting, we're gonna have zero. I'm gonna have zero interest in Jericho Sims anyway. Looking at the model right now, Jericho's projected for one more minute. OF index is the same basically. Jericho does have the slight edge in value scores, but if for some reason Precious ends up getting the start, we'll see these minutes adjust. But this feels like the wrong thing to do. Put both of them for 22 minutes. I think you want to take a side or just maybe not even really get there. I'm not even getting that much exposure to them. Maybe I'll adjust it so I give one of them more of the minutes. It would be probably Precious, I'm guessing, but I think it's a situation I mostly would just like to avoid actually and just get to the rest of the starters, mostly Jalen Brunson.
Yep.
The other side, Philadelphia, we just got news that Tyrese Maxey is in. So we're still waiting for Paul George news?
Uh,
Unless I
yep.
missed. Okay. So we'll talk about it as if they're both playing. I'm not getting to much of this team. Are you?
No, not really. I have a little bit of Maxi on FanDuel, and then a little bit of Yabusele, but nothing crazy.
And you guys know I love fading Tyrese Maxey, so maybe I'll bump him up because the thing is the price is pretty similar to Brunson. If I'm playing a lot of Brunson, it kind of makes sense to mix in some Maxey. And then with Paul George, I just don't know what to do with Paul George this season. I'm a little bit below the field. I'm pretty comfortable with that, so I'll probably leave it around there.
Yep.
Any interest in Kelly Oubre?
No, not really. Not on FanDuel at least. DraftKings 6,100. I could get there.
Yeah, he's tied with Paul. Oh no, I'm sorry. Eric Gordon is the highest DK value on this team, but after that, Paul George and Kelly Oubre have the same. Tyrese is fine, good OF index, and the ownership is reasonable. But I mean, my thing with Maxi is just that when Embiid's out, his efficiency tanks, and so all right, he takes 30 shots, he might get there that way, but I don't know. I'd like to find another spot to get to if I can.
Yeah.
Next game, we got blowout potential: Boston and Toronto. What do you like from the Boston side?
Nothing really. Kristaps Porzingis is probably my favorite play, but other than that, I'm not really getting to a whole lot. Like if you wanted to play Tatum, I guess you could, but when everyone's healthy, it's just kind of tough to find that ceiling. So Porzingis is probably my favorite option.
Yeah, I think I like mixing in Tatum, getting to some Porzingis. Porzingis really strong DK value score at his price. Or wait, yeah, 15.3 at a 7,100. Drew really good value score too at 5K. 1% ownership. Porzingis very low owned. We know Boston likes to play with their food. I bet if you bet against the spread this season, you'd probably be up. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, even with that said, I don't know that I'm going to get to much besides Porzingis and Jason Tatum here. Maybe mix in a couple percent of Jaylen Brown and Drew Holiday. I'll mention Derek White.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Other side, Toronto. We saw a game last week where Scotty, where like they were pretty big dogs and no one played Toronto. Scotty Barnes went off. I think Jakob Pertl had a really big game. That was against the Cavs actually. And so, do you see any kind of similar situation with that today? Are you interested in playing Toronto as tournament pieces?
Yeah, I don't mind getting there. Boston's a pretty decent defense, but in tournaments, I think they're all in play. Scotty and RJ would probably be my favorite options.
I agree. Yeah, and no quickly today, huh? That guy can't lose me money today.
And then Boucher on DraftKings, I wouldn't hate getting there. FanDuel, I wouldn't really get there, but his minutes are high. There's a lot of variance in his minutes. If he's playing well, he can get extended run. So I don't mind him at under 4K on DraftKings.
Yeah, Boucher a few games ago. I mean, he kind of was got booted out of the rotation, getting a couple minutes, then came on and just destroyed. I mean, they didn't win, but he did very well against Cleveland. That's one of the reasons they were in the game. I don't mind it. I don't know if the field's going to get there. We don't have him ranked as a strong value, but at 3% this is a tournament shot. Prefer him on DraftKings, of course.
Yep.
Any interest in maybe Davion Mitchell, who's the top value on this team?
No.
3,300 on DK. Just mentioned that. Jose, is there any cheap value that we're playing 100% of? This is actually something Smitty and I have been talking about a lot recently. I don't think we really want to play 100% of anyone anymore. Even if you're only making a few lineups, I think you got to give yourself more shots on goal. So that's something we're going to experiment with is like I've talked about it on stream, spreading out our exposure, but I was so extreme before with how high owned I would have of guys that taking a little bit longer to correct it. But so no, there's no one we're playing 100% of today. Right, Smitty? You're not playing 100% of anyone?
Yeah. No.
Didn't hear about Doughton on the show yesterday. I think he was like 0.2% owned. I don't think anyone heard about Doughton on any shows.
I talked about him in Discord.
Hey, Smitty got it, dude. That's why you guys got to join the Discord. Instructions in the description below. Q&A every day after the stream ends. Smitty, who's to play today?
David Roddy.
Yep. I was going to say the correct Hawks value and Jalen Brunson, but if David Roddy's top of value. And the normal cash plays, I'll just sort by ownership. Most of the time, it's really just going to be the top owned guys. I mean, Bogdan, we're going to advocate to kind of light fade in GPPs, but in cash, you have to play probably at least these top 4 guys, right?
Yeah.
Probably get Wemby and Brunson in there too.
Probably want at least 3 Atlanta pieces, probably 4.
For cash, yeah, definitely. Yeah. And that's not even like thinking about Capella or Okongwu yet. Smitty, Tatum, Cole Anthony. That's a lot of stuff going on. I will just tell you the guy by the highest OF index is Wemby. LaMelo's not that far below him. And Tatum, I mean, it's kind of flip a coin. Those are all pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
All right. Talked about Toronto. Talked about Boston. Dallas and the Pelicans. Pretty close spread. Let's start with Dallas. Getting Daniel Gafford obviously is going to be one of the top values of the day with no likely. So are you getting to a healthy amount of Gafford?
Yeah, I'm getting to quite a bit. I'm slightly under the field on FanDuel. 65% just seems pretty aggressive when you only get one center option, but the minutes should be here. It's a really good matchup going against the Pelicans, tight spread. It's hard not to really like it. And then Najee is the other play that's kind of coming up for me. I'm under the field there, but we'll have to see what the starting lineup is. I think that could change some things.
The previous question was asking about PJ. He's up to 7K on DraftKings, 72 on FanDuel. But honestly, I'm perfectly fine playing him, especially when he's under 10%. And again, Smitty, tell me if I'm wrong on this, but I've created this feeling that New Orleans is a pretty good defensive team and a team that is a little bit not great to target fantasy players against. Do you feel the same?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, so it's not like PJ's a smash or not a smash, but I think it's a good tournament play at 7K. Model approved with a 9.4 OF index.
Yep.
And then if Spencer Dinwiddie starts, is 6,500 a price that we're willing to pay?
I have 7% of him on FanDuel, so I think he's fine.
What happened to Jaden Hardy?
Minutes.
I thought he had a good game.
Yeah, he has had pretty decent games.
I mean, if we predict him for the 29 minutes, yeah, he'd probably be our favorite value of the day. But at 20 minutes, I don't know that we can do much. Are you getting any?
No, not right now.
Me neither. I am getting a few percent of Quentin Grimes. And is there anything else from this team?
Yeah, I have a few percent of Quentin Grimes, and then I have like 3% of Clay. But overall, it's mainly just Gafford.
Man, single-digit value for Clay is what a fall from grace.
He's been better, but I still don't really want a ton of him or anything, but he has been better lately.
Yeah, he's the guy right now who I look at him like every other shooter. If he's chalk, I'm going to have very little interest. If no one's playing him in spots like this, I don't mind mixing him in.
Yep.
Chuck, do you lean more value or OF index? For like pay-ups and studs, definitely OF index. And then for the not studs, value. The mid-range guys kind of just use a mix of both, I guess. But when a stud has a high OF index and high DK value, like today with I guess no one has that today. But yeah, if a good OF index play also has a really good value, then they're probably just the best play of the day. We don't have that today. Yeah, Savage was touting Council and the Sixers bench yesterday. Nice. Nick Richards for a Kogi in 3 second rounds is cuckoo. Yeah, dude, Lakers could have given the Hornets Josh Okogie in 3 second rounds for Nick Richards, man. Is this the next game, Houston? It is not. We're going to get back to this one when we get to Houston, Nathan. Let's go to the next game, or the next team, Pelicans. Were you getting any exposure from this side?
I have a little bit of DeJounte on FanDuel. I like him. And after that, it's basically just him and Trey Murphy. But CJ at 7,400, you could argue he's probably a little underpriced with no Zion. So I don't mind getting there. But other than that, not a ton of plays I like here.
I'm pretty interested in CJ as a GPP play. It just feels like he's a guy that we can target at this price and ownership. I will say that the model has like this feels like a low OF index. He's been ranked a little bit higher, I guess, in the last few weeks. And then until Trey Murphy hits 8K, I'm going to play him every day. I like DeJounte. Not really getting anything else from here.
No. Jordan Hawkins is a little too thin for this big of a slate.
I'll just point out Javonte Green has a strong OF index at micro ownership on DraftKings 3,300. So if you want to get a couple percent of him, that's probably not the worst, although probably just save the spots for the Hawks game. And then Missy also has a pretty decent DK value, not pulling any ownership anymore. Why isn't he pulling ownership? Is he losing minutes to Tice?
No, just hasn't really been putting up the numbers since Zion's been back. But I still don't hate getting there.
He only played 17 minutes in a close game last game, not foul trouble, so that's concerning. What do we have him projected for? 28. Probably don't have to consider him too much today. Orlando and Milwaukee. So what are we doing with Paolo Banchero and his minutes limit? We think it stays right at 27.
Right now, I don't. I actually have more than the field. I have 12% on FanDuel. I like him, small forward, power forward eligible. I think he's a pretty good guy to mix in, especially when with Goga out.
Yeah, he came back pulling, man. 21 shots in 27 minutes to put up 54. Did he pull ownership that day?
No, not at all.
And then today we have him projected for 2 and 1%. I really don't mind getting over that 2 and 1%. I have more than that right now. What do you think about the 30 minutes projection? Do you think that's pretty safe, or is?
I think that's safe, and he's been pretty good about letting us know what the limit's going to be, or if there will be a limit. Maybe he's off that limit.
Okay, nice. In terms of like OF index, no one else is even in the same stratosphere. And so Cole Anthony's still been pretty decent with Paolo Banchero back. He's projected for 13% on DraftKings, the 6,900 on FanDuel. It's a little bit harder to work with, but are you interested at 6,200?
Yeah, I don't mind getting there a little bit. I'm underweight on FanDuel, but I don't hate taking shots.
And then the guy who just shows up every single freaking day, Jonathan Isaac, projected for actually some pretty heavy ownership today, 18 and 13%. Even without Goga, we have him projected for 24. Does that seem aggressive?
Did you see his last game?
I did not.
He
Did
played
play?
like 28 minutes or something crazy.
All right.
Had a triple or yeah, was it a triple double or a double double?
20
double
points,
double.
11 rebounds. Yeah, this is what happens when you don't play DFS for 5 days. You have no idea what's going on. So I'm not quite at the 18%, but he is showing up. Are you comfortable playing him and projecting him for? I mean, so apparently 24 might be kind of a low projection. Is that where you're at?
Yeah, I would say 24 is pretty safe. Probably in that, I'd probably feel more comfortable with 23 minutes.
Yeah, I had him bumped down to 23, and I'm still getting a pretty decent amount.
Yeah, like he's probably going to play the backup center. No Goga, no. I can't even think of his name. Mo. No Mo.
Oh, Mo Wagner.
Yeah, so he's probably going to play the backup 5 minutes, which is pretty interesting, but it is a brutal matchup.
Do we like the 28-minute projection for Wendell Carter?
It's probably a little too low.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Only center. I mean, Wendell Carter just not been. He's not been great this year. I'll say that.
Yeah, he hasn't been great, but starting, they're going to need his size out there. I think he's pretty decent.
Yeah, if the field's just going to completely ignore him today, I mean, 10 and 6%, it's not zero, but this is a spot I don't mind taking a couple shots on.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too.
Anything else? Tristan Da Silva, Anthony Black, or anything?
No.
KCP. Yeah. Other side of this game, Milwaukee. Brooke Lopez, top of value. Ryan Rollins. He's been priced second best value on this team, but not showing up super high. Why is he so high with Damon?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, because we only have him projected for 16 minutes.
Trent is out, so maybe.
I have no interest in Ryan Rollins today. I have very little interest in this team at all, especially they're going against Orlando. Goga's out, so that actually kind of affects it a little bit, but getting a couple percent of Giannis, and that's it.
Yeah, that's about where I'm at too. It's mainly Giannis. I don't hate a few shots on Dame where he's under 9K, and that's it.
Yeah, 2 and 1%, 8,500. This is a good price for Dame. Still double-digit OF index, so it's still a strong play. And then in terms of FanDuel value, there's not really anything here.
No.
All right, now the game we've all been waiting for, Atlanta. Let me just see. I think Dyson Daniel kills today. He killed the slate without Trey and Johnson, and this will be a fast-paced game for him. Yeah, everyone's going to focus on the values. I like Dyson Daniels today. No Irving, no Doncic. Doesn't PJ Washington usually have big games? Sometimes. It's the hope when we play him anyway.
As long as he's shooting well.
Yeah, as long as he's shooting well and just get 10 rebounds, dude. I don't want to see you finish a game with 4 rebounds ever again. Smitty, is it okay to stack 4 Hawks and GPPs?
It depends. I don't have very many 4 stacks, but in like a single entry or something, it probably makes more sense.
I can tell you that I am also not really running many Atlanta 4 stacks. The thing is just they're all value except for Dyson Daniels. Maybe you mix in a Kongwu or Capella, but I'd rather just try and hit on the 2 best values from that team and mix in someone else. Like scrolling through my lineups right now, my top lineup has 3 Hawks. The next couple have 3 Hawks, and then a couple with 4 Hawks. So I'm going to make adjustments, but it looks like I'm at 3 to 4 Hawks in a lot of my lineups. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I have a lot of 3.
Okay. Nice. Yo, Jay Grams. Cat's out who's starting. We don't know yet, but probably Sims. Who has the highest OF from the studs overall? This is sorted by OF index. Jokic, Wemby, Giannis, LaMelo, Tatum. And this is just the sort it out. I mean, if you're playing on FanDuel today, throw AD in there. Do you think D. Russ will play on a back-to-back? Did you have anything there, Smitty?
Yeah, he might. I don't know.
I have no idea. He got ruled in kind of late yesterday, right?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
I mean, they're just playing to lose, so maybe he don't play.
Yeah, right. He's a little bit too good for that team. So, Smitty, what are we doing with Atlanta, man?
Atlanta has a lot of pretty good value options. I will say I feel best about David Roddy and Vit. Their minutes seem the most secure. David Roddy has been good when he's given the minutes. 3,700 on FanDuel, good eligibility, and flat 3K on DraftKings. I think he's under-owned. I haven't refreshed the model to see if that's changed much, but David Roddy looks really good. We'll have to see who starts here. If Keaton Wallace probably don't start, but he probably will play the backup point. So I think he's pretty interesting. Min price on DraftKings. And then Garrison Matthews probably starts here. He looks like a good play as well. But I think getting overweight on Dyson makes sense here. And then like the Okongwu, Capella, just pick one of them. They're both good plays.
How do we get away from Bogdan here?
I don't know. I just prefer the guys around him. Bogdan's minutes, I didn't play him yesterday. I had a couple percent, but for the most part, fully faded him. I thought he was a pretty bad play. Coming off an injury on the front of a back-to-back, and then tonight he's on the back end of a back-to-back, and it wouldn't make sense for me to play him tonight.
Here's the thing. All the other sites in the industry have Bogdan projected crazy, like very, very, very well. I think this is a pretty aggressive minutes projection even from us. I don't know that he's played 30 minutes, even with Trey out. I know it's a little bit different. So Trey's missed 2 games this year, but Bogdan was not available for one of them. Okay, Trey's missed 3 games, and Bogdan was not available for 2 of them. The one on... Oh, this is the same game. Never mind. It's just one game on December 21st. No Trey, but Zachary Ricochet was in. And Jalen Johnson was in that day too. They're both out today. Keaton Wallace, DeAndre Hunter, Larry Nance were the first three off the bench. Bogdan checked in a couple minutes later, only played 25 minutes that game. No Larry Nance today, but I imagine those minutes will just go to a Kongwu. And without DeAndre Hunter, it's just there's a lot of minutes to go around. Bogdan's been bad. The field might be down on him. He's pulling 50% ownership, but the model is telling us this is a model approved fade. You guys know how the model approved fades go. Sometimes they work awesome, sometimes they don't. But if you're willing to take the risk, this is a spot I think that we want to lean into and be under the field on Bogdan.
Yeah, I agree. I'd rather just play the cheaper value there. So I think that makes sense. And then Okongwu Capella, one thing I will say too, on FanDuel, they're kind of priced up. What's Okong? See, on DraftKings, where Okongwu is 4,800, it's possible they share some minutes alongside each other. So I think they're both pretty solid.
I'm interested in mixing them in. Yeah, I don't want to play them together because it's always going to be one or the other, especially against Chicago. But looking at this here, usually I feel like a Kongwu's higher than Capella. Am I wrong about that?
Yeah, normally.
And so today the model really likes Capella. Granted, it's based on the minutes, but Capella at less minutes is a better value than a Kongwu. And so initially, before I looked at this, I thought I'd have more Kongwu, but as it is right now, I have a little bit more Capella. I'm actually under the field on a Kongwu, over on Capella here.
Yeah, I'm underweight on Okongwu on FanDuel, underweight on Capella, but my lineups aren't finalized.
And then, what kind of groups were you thinking about for these guys, or are you doing any groups?
I haven't yet. I was gonna debate on that. I know Capella and Okongwu, and then probably Dyson and Keaton Wallace. I wouldn't want them together. And then I gotta figure out if I want to do any others. They're just so cheap that it's kind of hard.
Yeah, it's just a lot of the things that you end up doing are going to end up locking you out of possible winning combinations.
Yep.
I don't know that I would disclude Keaton and Garrison, though, if they're both starting.
Yeah.
Anyone that's starting, I probably won't disclude from each other. And even then, I might just do a Kongwu and Capella, not in the same lineup. Everyone else, like, I don't think I'm going to get that many with 4 of these Hawk guards. So hope I just don't, I guess.
Yep. And this is kind of different than last night, too. Like last night, I kind of liked some of the bench players from the 76ers, but they were going against OKC, supposed to be a blowout. Here, they're going against Atlanta, and it's still only a 7-point spread. Chicago's defense is terrible, so this is just a lot better matchup for them.
Power calls him Bogdan. Bog, you son of a bitch. Nathan with ATL playing a back-to-back doesn't affect value plays. I don't care about back-to-backs. Maybe if it was like overtime yesterday, everyone played 40 minutes, I'd consider it a little bit. But for this game specifically, I don't think it affects anything at all. Maybe just with Bogdan.
Yeah.
Play Creechy face free square. Yeah, he's showing up as a, Brody's kind of breaking the value. But after him, Creechy's showing up as a really strong value. I mean, just look at these OF indexes, dude. 7.2 at 3K, 7.4 at 4K. Very, very strong. So like getting to both of those guys. Other side of this game, Chicago. How do we want to run this back? No one's pulling ownership here.
Yeah, I liked Levine yesterday. I think I'm fine getting back there again today. What's his ownership? 8% on FanDuel. I have 11 right now, so no, not a crazy stance. I like Giddy again. He's been playing better. The minutes have been secure. Io is probably going to play here, but not 100% on that. But Lonzo Ball is likely out, so they're just going to exchange minutes basically. So I think it's Giddy and Levine. I don't hate taking shots on Kobe White. And then Vooch has been playing pretty good, but there's a lot of good centers on this slate.
Yep, tournament shots on Levine. His ownership seems kind of low. This is a awesome game for him, and he's on one of the best streaks he's ever been on in his career. He has not missed value in this year. So yesterday was the first time he didn't score 30 real life points. Shot 10 of 22. Still basically got there. So really like Zach LaVine today. It's not hard to get over the field. Like I'm not gonna have a ton, but I'll be more than the 10% or whatever.
Yeah.
Have a few percent of Giddy, a few percent of Vooch. Model's telling us Giddy and Vooch are better plays than Zach LaVine, though, so that's something to consider. I'm still going to play LaVine, but maybe I'll bump Giddy up and Vooch up another minute or two.
Yeah. We just got their news as well. Lonzo's out, Io's in, so
okay.
What I expected.
Easy game. And then just in case, Giannis is in, Chris Middleton's in, Tyler Higbee was limited in practice. The hell. Kobe White's in too. Next game, Memphis and Spurs. So let's go to Memphis. John Morant projected for 32 minutes. Does that sound right?
Seems kind of aggressive.
This seems way too high. I have 0% Jaw. I'm not playing Jaw today. If he does it in his short minutes, sure, but I think he's projected too high around the industry, leading to him being overowned. So I will just don't want to get there at all.
Yeah, that's about where I am too.
I actually have zero exposure to this team on DraftKings. Is that I mean, they're not pulling much ownership, so they're all tournament plays anyway, but are you okay with that? Is there anyone I should be looking at?
This is a pretty good game. It's just Memphis's rotations are pretty rough. Jaren Jackson's probably my favorite play here. I kind of want a few percent of him.
Okay. Yeah, that's the guy that I've been trying to really target every day. Wasn't his price up to like 9,600?
Yeah.
All right, back to 9K. It's honestly probably the correct price for him right now. Like anything less, 8,500 would feel like a bargain. So I bumped him up. Didn't get any. He's just too expensive, even with the value we have. I guess getting some other plays. I might try and force in a couple percent. And then Desmond Bain, back to a double-digit OF index, 76, 7,400. Prices back up. Is this a tournament spot, or do you just want to get to somewhere else?
I prefer getting somewhere else.
And then, so the problem is we have all this great Atlanta value. Every other piece of value on the slate today is pivots. Are any of these worth considering as pivots at the bottom?
No,
Yep.
not really.
Spurs, we know we got Wemby at the top of OF index just after Jokic, projected for a lot of ownership. A lot of ownership. This is a spot, dude. If you can find that extra 1,100 on FanDuel, I know that Jokic only has center eligibility. Wemby has power forward, but 47-2. Jokic is not the better play than Wemby 24, once out of 20, or you know what I'm trying to say. Jokic outscore is a better play more than 1 out of 24 times, just looking at the ownership. This is absurd. Wemby's still a good play. What are you doing with him?
Yeah, I currently have 38% right now on FanDuel. Feel pretty good about that. I mean, of course, I'd like to have more, but I'm also playing some other chalk, so I got to get different somewhere.
Yeah, I have about a 30% over on DraftKings. Pretty comfortable with that. I'm not going to adjust it. We'll see how that changes after I adjust the value. That's what's going to move Wemby's ownership for me today. Also getting a few percent of Devin Vassell, Chris Paul, and then Stephon Castle is showing up as one of the top values on the model. I forced in a few percent of him, wasn't really getting there, but he's projected for 20 and 11% ownership, 7.7 OF index at 4K flat on DraftKings. Do you like the 30 minutes projection for Stephon Castle?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Going against Memphis, they're going to need him to guard Jaw, so I think his minutes are pretty safe here. So I'm overweight on FanDuel. I have 20% right now.
Okay. And so, like I mentioned with that Atlanta value, that's our first options today. Everything else is a pivot. Let's see, Stephon Castle, 19.3 DK value. He's the second best value after David Roddy. So I really think we want to mix him in. Yeah, just mix him in. Like, don't necessarily get away from Krejci or Roddy, but if we play more Stephon Castle, that seems really good going by the model.
Yep.
30 minutes is a lot. I might shave a couple minutes off that. That seems really aggressive.
Yeah.
Are you looking at anyone else on the Spurs? I mean, I'm getting a percent of Julian Champagny and 1% of Keldon Johnson.
I like Devin Vassell again. I think he looks pretty good. FanDuel, it's a little harder to get to, but I'm still getting there. I have 22% of him currently.
Yeah, and these guys are all still showing up as great values over on FanDuel, Vassell, Paul, and Castle. So still like them over there. I will say the 4,800 on FanDuel doesn't feel nearly as good as the 4K on DraftKings does.
Yep.
Charlotte and Utah. I'm going to refresh and see. I don't know if we can project Mark Williams for more minutes, but it sure feels like he could definitely play more minutes. 28. I feel like it was 29 last time. Still really good value. Double-digit OF index. His ownership came up a little bit, but there's no Nick Richards here. Is Musa Diabate still on the team? He's been out of the rotation. Maybe he plays a backup big today, but Mark Williams, especially against Utah, Walker Kessler is a great defensive center, but this is a spot I want to take a bunch of tournament shots on today. I think he's currently in my single entry, so I hope that keeps.
Yeah, he seems safe. FanDuel, it's a little harder just because we only have one center, but I still think he's a good play there. But on DraftKings, definitely a play I'd like to be overweight to. 6,100 just looks like a really good option. They're going to need his size out there.
Yeah, and just even without our opinion, the model is just straight up telling us Mark Williams is one of the best center plays of the slate, probably second to Gafford and maybe Jokic, depending if you're paying up that much at center. But uh, over the field on LaMelo, too, actually kind of surprised his ownership so low. He's only 10K.
Yeah, FanDuel, I have 18% of them. Pretty happy right there. And then DraftKings, I'd like to be overweight. I just feel like a close spread, you don't see that a whole lot with Charlotte.
I talked about diversifying my portfolio today. I have 30% LaMelo. Like, that's diversifying for me. So if I
Mhm.
wasn't trying this new strategy, new process, I'd probably have like 50%. LaMelo,
Yep.
very, very strong play. Model likes him. And honestly, I think the 10K is kind of a bargain. He should be 10.5, 10.6 maybe.
Yep.
Uh, One lineup with Brandon Miller out of 100 and two with Miles Bridges. Are you getting there?
Um, yeah, I have 5 lineups with Brandon Miller.
Okay. Okay. And then anything else from Charlotte?
No,
Nope. You think Musa Diabite comes in for those backup big minutes, or do you think they do something weird against Utah?
I don't know. Yeah, he probably does.
Yeah, I don't see what else they could do, but I don't know that we would consider him on the main slate since we have no idea if he's even going to play. But maybe if you're playing like a, I don't know if there's a turbo slate for these 9 p.m. games, but maybe he could be in consideration there on a showdown, assuming he's min price.
Yeah.
Utah, who's out for Utah today? Colin Sexton, Laurie Markkinen, John Collins, Jordan Clarkson, Johnny Juzang. Uh, yeah, they've had some weird starting lineups, right? Fill me in on what's been going on with Utah.
Yeah, pretty much everyone of relevance has been out, including Keontae. Keontae's coming back now, and everything else pretty much remains the same. Bryce Sensabaugh has been in and out, and then Sexton has been in. So it's been pretty crazy there. But Bryce Sensabaugh, he'll probably continue to come off the bench. He's kind of been playing like the Jordan Clarkson role while Clarkson's been out. So I think Sensabaugh makes sense when he's out there. His usage is really good. He's my highest exposed play on FanDuel. And then Collier's been kind of up and down, but I don't hate mixing him in as a pivot to some of the Hawk value.
Okay, nice, nice. Yeah, Keontae, Bryce Sensabaugh, Walker Kessler for me. Would have mixed in some Svi, but we have the Atlanta value. It doesn't really seem necessary. Always want to play Micah Potter, but model's telling me he's a piece of shit, so not going to do that. Uh, yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward. Are we ready to move on?
Yeah.
Houston, Denver. Is this the best game of the night?
Yeah, it should be
It's got to
to
be the best.
watch.
Yeah, like I don't know what seed Denver is right now, but these are probably two of the contenders coming out of the West after OKC.
Yep.
What are you getting to from here?
Um, I would like to get to more Amin Thompson. He's probably my favorite play from here. Just been doing a little bit of everything. Denver's been terrible defensively, and then Sengun. I think Sengun's a pretty good center option. Um, Other than that, I mean, it's kind of tough. You could take shots like FanDuel. I'm not getting to a whole lot, but shots on Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, and I mean the model is giving us Jalen Green as a really strong play almost every day around the 6 to 7K price, top value on this team, and so I bumped Jalen Green up every day just based on this, and it works a few times. And then Amon Thompson, his price is way up, but he's the best player on this team after Sengun. I'm willing to pay this. I'm over the 5%, not by much though, not jamming in like we were when he was 6K.
Yeah, yeah, he seems really good.
I feel like I always want to take shots. Maybe not this season, but Fred Van Vliet, any interest in 1% or something?
I have 3% right now.
Okay. Okay. Nice. I got zero, so I wasn't sure if how far out of my lineups he was. But then Cam Whitmore showing up in a couple percent. I mean, if I don't feel like changing it. We have the Atlanta value. If I was hand building, I probably wouldn't do that.
Yeah, same here.
Other side of this game, Denver. Jamal, did he miss a couple games and come back,
Um,
or is
no,
he been? He's just been out. Oh no, he played yesterday.
he went off.
Oh, he hasn't even missed. Russ has just been really good. Yeah, put up
Aaron
60
Gordon's been
yesterday.
out.
Aaron Gordon's been out. All right, so Denver, Jokic, top of the model. Always fine getting to him. We have the value to play him pretty comfortably today. Jamal, double digit OF index. Russell Westbrook back up to 7K, 7,800 on FanDuel, no ownership. What does your exposure look like to Denver?
I'm not really getting to much on FanDuel. I have a few percent of Jokic, a few percent of Westbrook. On DraftKings, it's mainly the same, Jokic and Westbrook for me.
Yep, that's all I'm getting to. Never mind MPJ as a GPP play, always, especially if he's 0 and 1%. Like I want to make sure I have at least a percent in my exposures. He's been pretty bad, but if no one else is playing him, this is bottom price for him. So I like getting there.
Yep.
And Aaron Gordon for 19 minutes, not really doing anything with that.
No.
Let's get to some of these questions. Isaac with no go-go will be a strong play. Yeah, I mean, if the coach is going to give him the minutes, and we saw that in the last game, that's my biggest problem with him. So I'll be more comfortable playing him in that case. No BS. This is the best NBA DFS show there is. Appreciate the kind words, Carmen. Still a lot of things that I'd like to improve on that we can get better at. More information we can provide, but really kind words. Appreciate that. Keontae or Sensabaugh? It's Sensabaugh, I think. I mean, we have the value on Atlanta, but I don't know. I'm not getting to much of that mid-range, like Keontae range today. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. I have more sensible.
Do we like LaMelo tonight? I love LaMelo tonight based on his ownership.
Yep.
Model likes him too. Yeah, Smitty. Why is Roddy so high, man?
He's probably the best play on the slate.
He's probably the best play on the slate. 20% ownership, 19%. You're expecting him to start?
Yeah.
If he starts, this 24 minutes projection is really low. I have to think the whole industry is probably under projecting him, although it will adjust if he's announced in the starting lineup.
I'd be kind of happy if he don't start.
I wouldn't hate it, yeah, because the minutes should honestly the minutes would probably be similar. I would say that he'd have more potential to play big minutes if he does start, and he's playing well. There's no Larry Nance to take his minutes today, so that's a really big thing, I think. No Ricochet either. Kessler is dating Miss America. He's tired. Did you see that last week? He had a game in Orlando, and the Miss America whatever was also in Orlando, and they just happened to be there in the same night. And first of all, shout out to Walker Kessler, dude. Good for you, man.
No kidding.
Mavs or Pelicans today? I'm playing more Mavs, but I'm not particularly interested in either team.
Yeah.
Diversify your portfolio. Learn that from Wu-Tang. Nice. I learned that from someone else, but Isaac play. I don't know if it's too sneaky. I kind of have a feeling he's going to come in owned more than projected, but he's a fine play at the minutes we have him for. Got a lineup with both Isaac and Boucher. Hoo-wee! Putting the pivot with the pivot. And then we will get to the Clippers in a minute. We're going to have to run through these last games kind of quick. Last game on the DraftKings slate, Golden State and Minnesota. What are you getting from here?
Nothing really. This game seems kind of gross, low total, but it is a tight spread. So if you wanted to take shots on Curry, I don't hate it.
Yep. Getting a couple percent of Draymond, and that's about it. But I also, Curry would be the GPP guy that I don't mind. Tougher to take guys against Minnesota. I haven't looked at the defensive stuff since Dante DiVincenzo's been in the starting lineup, though. It's possible that they're not as good on defense.
Yeah.
And then from Minnesota, 2% of Julius, 0.5% of Naz Reid.
Yep, about where I'm at. 4% Julius, and I have 3% Dante.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to take shots on anyone from this team, I think that's fine. I'll point out Rudy Gobert, 15.1 DK value. He's kind of the pivot off of Mark Williams, who everyone's going to be paying attention to, but I still don't believe this 5,600 price on Rudy Gobert, man. He's had a couple good games at this price, and he should be at least 6K. No one wants to play him. I think he's a really good GPP play. I'm actually going to bump him up.
Yeah, and he gives you late swap flexibility, which is nice.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty huge. Now, last two games, I don't have the FanDuel slate up. What are the last two games, Smitty?
We got Miami and your Lakers.
Miami and my Lakers. God, my Lakers suck, dude. I can't believe we couldn't trade. We couldn't even trade for Nick Richards. Rob, what are you doing? Like I mentioned, I'm not playing a FanDuel today. I haven't built my night lineup. So Smitty, go ahead and take it away with Miami and LA.
Yeah, not a whole lot to love here. Bam is questionable, and we've seen Khalil Ware didn't start last time. Played pretty good minutes though and was productive. If Khalil Ware plays, or like if Bam don't play, I think Khalil Ware will look good once again. But as of right now, I'm building with Bam in, not getting to a ton here. Mainly Jaime Jaquez And then I have a couple percent of Tyler Hero. I think Hero's probably the highest upside play from here.
I mean, just looking at it and thinking about my night slate lineups, it's not going to be a team I'm getting much exposure to, I don't think. Haywood Highsmith, pretty good DK value. Nothing else stands out from this team. Tyler Harrow, barely double-digit OF index, but he's priced up now, so just a deep GPP play.
Yeah, and Jovic, when he was under 5K, I liked him. Now it's pretty tough to get there with him off the bench. And then on the other side of this game, I'm getting to just sprinkles of Anthony Davis and LeBron. I think they're both okay. Prefer LeBron probably at his price tag. And then Austin Reeves, I have a couple percent of, and that's pretty much it from that game.
Yep, AD has the slight edge in OF index, but he's also more expensive than LeBron. Pulling less ownership, that's a spot. Austin Reeves, this seems like a really low OF index for him. I know the price isn't too high, 8% ownership. I would probably get there on the night slate, GPP on the main. Everyone else on this team sucks, dude. My team sucks.
Yeah. Next game, we have Brooklyn and the Clippers. That's a pretty messy game as well. Brooklyn, Nick Claxton's questionable. I expect him to play here. He missed the previous game last night. And then we'll see. But I'm getting to a little bit of Claxton right here. And I don't mind it because it kind of gives me some late swap flexibility if Bam is out as well. So getting to Claxton and then Zaire, I think, is kind of a mid-range play. And then I have a couple percent of Day'Ron Sharp, but overall, pretty unappealing team.
So that first game that we got these weird Brooklyn lineups after the trades, I knew I wanted some exposure to Brooklyn. I did not know exactly who, so I kind of just did whatever and randomized it. Today, I feel like I want some exposure to Brooklyn if they're going to pull 5% ownership total as a team, but who?
Yeah, that's what's tough. There's so many moving pieces, and they're not playing to win. So, like, D'Lo could get ruled out or just not play full minutes. Keon Johnson's probably your safest option as far as minutes wise. They've been shown to play him, and then Tyrese Martin, but no one I'm really running to.
And Model's not giving us anyone that stands out. I mean, it's telling us Zaire Williams is the best play. There's no way Zaire Williams is the best play on this team today. Not to doubt the model, but someone else, if someone on this team does it, I would bet against it being Zaire. If D'Angelo's ruled out, come back later and refresh the model and see how that adjusts. Because 26 minutes to go around and the usage he brings is kind of a lot.
Yeah, that would be different. Then on the other side for the Clippers, I'm actually really not getting to anything. I have 2% of James Harden, and that's it.
Yeah, I saw someone ask about James Harden as a one-off. That seems fine. No one's going to play him, and we can play him basically for free with all the value we have, so no problem. Zubac, 9.9 OF index. Norman Powell, 9.4. Kawhi, 6.9. It's hard to have a lot of interest in this team, but if you're playing FanDuel, I think you get 0 Clippers. It's probably okay. If you're playing the DK night slate, I probably want some exposure to a couple of these guys.
Yeah.
Let's get some last questions in here. McDaniels or Brown? Is there any other options? Neither of them are showing up on the first page of DK value, so my answer would be find a different value. If you really have to play one of them, this is only DK night slate. I take that back. Hold on one second. McDaniels or Brown? Yeah, neither of them are on the front page of value, so I would lean towards playing someone on this list. Even scrolling down a full another page, I don't see either of their names. And KJ3, Isaac playing Okongwu. I think Isaac's probably the better play today, right?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, the Wu-Tang thing is a skit from Chappelle's Show. I wasn't cool when I was in high school, so I didn't watch Chappelle's Show. Point guards. I think Jayhawk can help out with the point guards on FanDuel, running a little tight on time. Wemby or Jokic. AD, Wemby or Jokic. Model has it in Jokic, Wemby, AD order, so.
Yeah.
And then I would just want to run through some news before we get out of here. Kyrie Irving officially out. Sixers are starting Maxey, Gordon, Oubre, Paul George, and Yabusele. Trace Jackson is in. Kyle Anderson is out. Gary Payton is in. Cody Martin is now listed probable for the Hornets, so that's kind of interesting if he gets ruled out. Jed Howard now listed questionable. I don't think he matters too much for what we're doing. And then Jericho Sims is starting for Cat. So Let's go ahead and ban this user.
So yeah, Caleb Martin is not in the starting lineup, so I wouldn't touch him.
I wouldn't play Caleb. I would just X him out. Yeah. All right. How do we, guys? I'm really sorry. I didn't notice those comments in the chat until right now. Sorry about that. Trying to use ours as a billboard for advertisements. Crazy. Smitty, did you like Collier?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like him too. And then Morant or Barnes?
Barnes.
Yeah, Barnes only because I don't know if Jaw can play a lot of minutes. So we didn't get to hit the dummy today, guys. I apologize. But hopefully, just plug in some Atlanta guys. Plug in a couple studs here. A couple of my favorites are like LaMelo and I guess Jokic. LaMelo, Jokic, Wemby. Jalen Brunson I like a lot. And then the values, David Roddy's really good. Stephon Castle, the other Atlanta guys. Daniel Gafford. And Mark Williams is going a little overlooked. Anything else you want to add, Smitty?
No, I think that's all good.
Appreciate you guys. If you want to join that Discord Q&A, get a few more minutes of the Occupy crew. Instructions to join that are in the description below. 15th. Does the slate not start till 4:30?
There's one game locking at 6. It's
okay.
Knicks, Philly.
Okay, we had the time wrong on our schedule here, but Jayhawk's probably in the Discord getting started, so join that. Hit the like button, subscribe on your way out, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks.